be ratified by the cabinet this evening. At least that was the plan till this morning. And he is resorting to Rule 12 of the government business rules, which allows him to formally sign this, putting it in abeyance till consensus with all stakeholders is achieved, and cabinet ratifying it. Now that is way out. So the decision of the cabinet to go in for FDI in retail will be undone, if not rolled back.
So that is something that has to be decided by the cabinet today. You're saying it's not how the government's making it sound, because what they tell us is that they're simply not going to notify it, and they don't really need to go back to the cabinet on it.
Well, then this is from what was being planned yesterday, last night. The idea was that it's a procedural thing. I think it's going to be semantics. But the cabinet can ratify post facto something that the Prime Minister sanctions, which is what I understood that they plan to do sometime this morning or late last night, which would, as I said, would undo the decision and keep it in abeyance till all consultations and consensus with all stakeholders is achieved. And that means fresh consultations, that means a de novo exercise. So for all practical purposes, FDI in retail decision would have been put off certainly till after the parliament session, maybe even after the assembly elections. And as I said, they will have to restart the consultations with various parties, including their allies.
It's not the first time that we've seen UPA to not being able to take a decision or go back on a decision. It's a sacrifice made because of a political compulsion, compulsion of allies, and considering the fact that the session was on. How much of loss of face do you think the government and the Prime Minister has had to suffer because of this?
I think it has dented the government's authority and certainly also the Prime Minister's image, because after the cabinet had taken the decision, the Prime Minister himself personally reiterated that there would be no rollback or suspension. So given that, and remember this is an international story, this decision had ramifications around the world. So yes, it has dented the image of the government and the
सस्पेंड कर दिया गया और डिफरेंट जो होल्डर हैं सभी पुलिस और जो लोग हैं आप सहमति से इस बात
हाँ इधर बोलिए इधर एक मिनट यार थोड़ा साइड में
After reaching a consensus with all the stakeholders, that is the resolution.
दिल मुफ्ती
who are the stakeholders and whether political parties are there. He clarified that stakeholders include state government and also political parties.